Welcome to the Nature of Now podcast. I'm your host, Joe Patitucci. On this show, we'll explore the intersection of consciousness, creativity, and the natural world. We'll dive into the mysteries of existence, perception, and how thoughts and intentions shape the world around us. Each episode features insightful discussions with pioneering artists, scientists, philosophers, and spiritual teachers who share their unique perspectives on how their works come into being. Nature of Now is here to awaken curiosity and inspire your imagination through heart-centered conversations that ignite our inner creative spark. Together, through wonder and curiosity, we'll discover how in every moment, the universe is calling us into new lessons, one breath and one insight at a time. So let's embark on this adventure together as we reveal the nature of now, where consciousness becomes form. Thanks for diving in with me on the Nature of Now podcast. I thought I'd just take a moment to share with you why I'm starting this and what I'm really looking to share. And yeah, for me, anything that I have ever created, I recognize that in a way it hasn't come from me, or it's more come through me. And so you might hear a lot of musicians talk about there's a certain point where the musician is no longer playing the instrument. It's almost like the universe is playing the instrument through the person's fingers. We might hear about this in sport too, where it's just people get into these flow states where it's almost like they have gotten out of the way and the universe is playing them. The universe is playing the game through them. So this, for me, has always been an interesting concept, and I've witnessed this happen through me in different ways, and it's part of why I created Plant Wave, which translates plant biorhythms into music. It was really a way of me getting out of the way, playing music, and instead of going out into nature and being inspired by nature and then going back into the studio and writing music, I started to think like, oh, wait a second, like maybe it's that space there in nature. It's that inspiration, it's that natural energy that's actually playing me. Maybe that's playing through me and creating music. And I started to, of course, experiment and play around with algorithms and having these simple rhythms that are happening in plants and translating that into music. And then that ended up creating music that was the music I had wanted to create my whole life. And so that really opened me up to this new way of seeing the world, and it opened me up to these ideas like cellular automata, which is it's a model of computation. It's basically a way of showing that simple rule sets played out over time can create complex forms. And a simple rule set could be something as simple as a way of parsing data, a way of seeing the world, a perspective that you might have as an individual, and how that perspective shapes everything that you create, and how that perspective might be like a filter for that universal energy to express itself in a particular way. It might sound like super esoteric, and it's not going to necessarily be that esoteric all the time. But the basics of what I'm looking to explore are really just the way the universe expresses itself through different human beings, and how our unique filters of, perspective and education and life experience lead to these really cool, unique expressions, whether they're music or poetry or actual pieces of technology or products. And so we're going to look at the kind of processes people go through in how they create. And also we're going to look at some of the really interesting creations that are coming out through human beings, and check out what that might mean for the future of creativity. Things like generative music, AI, and like biofeedback stuff are big areas for me. But then also just looking at like storytelling and ways of connecting to nature, and how important that is for what we continue to create in the future as humans, because it's important to stay connected to the earth so that our creations can be an expression of earth. So with that, thanks so much for listening. We're going to have some really great guests, and I'm excited for you to hear some of these really cool conversations we've had. So check out these episodes and enjoy.